Amazon's Fallout series is finally here. That's right, everyone's favorite nuclear apocalyptic landscape from the video games has transmitted itself to the small screen on streaming. And how did it turn out? That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I only saw the first episode, so we're just going to review this pilot here. And I'm a big Fallout fan. Your boy's already got a Pip-Boy right here. I got a little Pip-Boy mug that I use to hold pencils and pens and whatnot. So you already know, I've been a Fallout fan for a long time. Started with Fallout 3, and I've played all of the other ones, even the old ones. I went back and tried those out. So I'm a big Fallout fan. I've been dreaming about a potential Fallout TV series for so long that it's actually the first screenplay that I ever wrote was a pilot for a TV show called Fallout Colony. And I love this series. It's been rattling around in my brain for a long time. So we finally got a show. How did it turn out? Video game adaptations are the new gold rush in Hollywood. Everybody's rushing to get their own property out the door. Of course, we got some lackluster examples like the Halo series. We got some decent examples like The Last of Us. So where does this land? So far, I'd say it's kind of in the middle. There's things I like about this, things that I'm mixed on, and things I'm not sure how I'm feeling about until we get further down into the series. So that is what we're going to get into in this video. So this episode definitely nails the aesthetic. We got the 60s look absolutely down, so I love that. I mean, we start with a flashback and we set up some things. I would say that this episode might not be the best introduction into Fallout world. It kind of assumes that you know some things, or at the very least, it is withholding a lot of this information until later. You get little nuggets here or there. If you're a Fallout fan, you're going to appreciate. But if you are just getting introduced to this world, I think it's a very fast pace, and it does kind of assume that you know some things already. So it's maybe not the best introduction. Maybe it'll get better as the show goes in that regard. But we're cramming in like three kind of stories here, so that we have that intro scene, and we come back to that character at the end of the episode. And then in the middle of the episode, we got two characters, Lucy here, and we got Maximus. And they're in different factions. We're getting introduced to them, introduced to their own little world. And it does feel a little bit like too much in one episode. I almost wish that we just settled on one character for this first episode here and just kind of let it play out a little longer, because we're in such a rush to get to things that it doesn't necessarily feel like any of these characters get room to breathe. So I'm not particularly attached to any character at this moment. The one thing that I think they do nail is the satire and humor. The tone of it, it's definitely not taking itself super seriously. And that's what you want in a Fallout show. It might, at first glance, you might think, oh, post-apocalyptic, it's going to be all moody and dark and serious. That's never what Fallout has been. It's definitely very tongue-in-cheek, over-the-top personalities, and just a lot of humor sprinkled in, a lot of dark humor mixed in with, of course, over-the-top gore and action, and we got all of that here. So we don't get any, like, real mutants in this first episode. We get introduced to the vaults, of course, where people survived underground for many years, and then we get introduced to the Brotherhood of Steel is the other big part of this episode. So the Brotherhood of Steel is like an army that kind of is all about getting technology from the old world, and they're trying to control it for themselves. Everybody's got different views on how to take this apocalyptic world into the future and kind of bring back civilization and stuff. Everybody's got their different ideas about that. So I love the idea of different point of view characters that each are from their own faction. I think that's very smart. The only thing is, it's just a little fast. Some of the dialogue feels very forced, and some of the characters just don't click for me yet. I do love the humor. It comes a lot from people saying things at inappropriate times and just being a little awkward and silly. And I kind of like that humor. It's going to be subjective. Some people might not be into it. Some people might think it's cringe. I think it's funny. I like the humor, especially once the gory parts started happening, and some of the humor there with the violence, slapstick, over-the-top humor, really liked. And my favorite part of the episode by far is the ending. I don't know, minor spoiler alert, I suppose, but we've seen him in the trailer. So this character, the Ghoul, standout character. This final scene is phenomenal. I love this scene with him. So that's by far my favorite part. Like I said, it's just a little rushed at the beginning, you know. And this main character, Lucy, I'm not on board yet because you know we start off with this montage and she's applying for an arranged marriage, and that's how the society is arranged. That's fine. I mean, Fallout vaults are all about like experimentations and setting up these little mini civilizations with all their own rules. But we don't necessarily get to feel like we're living in this world. It's so breakneck speed that we don't get to know any of the other characters really. And when things start going down, it doesn't have the same impact. Now, of course, you know, there's humor, so you don't want to have too much emotional impact because it's not going to be funny anymore. But at the same point, we're just getting introduced to this world when they take it away from us, so to speak. I am a little mixed on this part of the episode, and it is the bulk of the episode. So we're introduced to this character, Lucy, after that brief flashback with the bombs, which I did appreciate having a pre-apocalypse flashback to introduce us to this world. And this character, Lucy, she's amazing at everything, guys, because of course she is. She can shoot, she's smart, she's a teacher, she's also good at, what other things was she good at? I don't know. She had a whole list of there's all these amazing things I could do. It's a bit over the top, you know, and it's not like she has too many flaws and whatnot, so it's a little hard to relate, but I guess they want the character who can do all these things to be the one who leaves out into this world. You know, that kind of makes sense because you want somebody who has an actual chance to survive. So the wedding is the beginning of this episode. She's arranged to get married. They open up this other vault. And as we get further in this episode, I will be getting into spoilers. So that's my overall thoughts. If you guys want to check out now, we're going to be doing a breakdown now. So I like the ideas here where, spoiler alert, okay, we're introduced to this character that she's marrying, and it turns out that he is a raider and that the neighboring vault was ransacked and co-opted, and now it's all just evil people trying to take them over. So, you know, it was all a ruse, you know, and part of me, there's certain logistical, logical things throughout this episode that make me question it a little bit. If we got a little bit more into it, then we would have been able to go without that. But in this first scene, for example, there's this big flash with the nuke, and nobody notices it except for the kid. That's one thing. It's like, if I see a big flash, I'm going to notice it. You know, I don't know. Nobody noticed it at the party except for the kid. And the same thing here is like, I get that they're disconnected and they don't talk much, but when you get the sense that something's off or wrong, I don't know how it works, but it just feels a little convenient. You know, there's a lot of plot conveniences. How often do they do this thing where they're meeting with this other vault to get marriage exchanges going on? You know, how often does that happen? You would think that it would be often enough that you would recognize some people on the other side. So when all these strangers show up, you're going to double check to make sure that something's not wrong. And the vault overseer here, the guy in charge, Kyle MacLachlan, I love the actor. I look forward to seeing more of him in the show. But he has a Pip-Boy that it's a little computer on the wrist. I love that they sprinkled that in. They didn't explain it, but you can just get context clues of what it is. So I like that aspect of it. But he's got this little Pip-Boy computer that can tell him when there's a breach in the vault. And why didn't that go off sooner? You know, maybe we'll get into how they broke in earlier. One of the logical things in this episode that kind of bothered me was this reveal of the Raiders. And part of it was everybody's wearing these Pip-Boys, and yet Lucy discovers the truth about the Raiders because she has her Hit-Boy and it has radiation detection in it. So don't you think that other people should have caught on to that earlier since they're all wearing their Pip-Boys? Definitely something that came off as weird. And also Lucy immediately said, "Oh, you are Raiders." And part of me thinks that she should be this fish out of water when she gets out of the vault. So should she even know what a Raider is? She hasn't been exposed to anything other than this vault in and of itself. But I guess they had run-ins with raiders in past generations or something, and her mother got killed by a raider maybe, so maybe there is something there. But yeah, just something I forgot to mention. And the other big issue is that the effects in the show are great and everything looks good, but we are missing that extra aspect where we get to really drench in that atmosphere. The music is too loud, especially in the scene when she's leaving the vault. It really doesn't feel as cool as that first vault exit in Fallout 3, for example. And even Fallout 3 is a great example because we got to see like a full lifespan before we actually got to leave the vault. So just comparing and contrasting these two things, the game almost feels more cinematic than the show does, which is a very weird dichotomy here. And when you compare and contrast the two things, I almost prefer the Fallout 3 version. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. But anyways, that introduction, a little shaky for me. I think it would have been better if we got a full episode of this so we could really feel like we are in this world. We have characters we care about. Other than Lucy, I didn't really care about Lucy at all, but the dad I'm interested in. I feel like there's some secrets, some things he wasn't letting on about, and the dialogue is a little forced in this part. But then the Raiders take over. I love the gory killing of everybody and the slapstick humor. I think they really nailed that part. And then we got this false choice here. It's a big dramatic thing where the overseer's like, you gotta sacrifice those people or you gotta sacrifice your daughter. And what's confusing there is that everybody survives in that scene. And what was the choice for then? Everybody survives. I guess the overseer and the other people are going to go off to the raider camp. We don't know what they want. We're going to find out later. But why do the raiders want to leave anybody alive? I thought they would have wanted to kill everybody, take their stuff, maybe live in the vault if it's a little safer. I don't know. I'm a little confused why they did the things that they did. Maybe they'll justify it later down the road. But, the false choice just kind of fell flat for me. And then here we are with the Brotherhood of Steel and Maximus is a guy, he's introduced, he's getting his ass beat. And we've, of course, introduced to the Brotherhood of Steel, already talked about how they want to collect all of these pre-war technological assets, and these guys are training to be the ones to find those things, and they're working with the knights and the power armor. Again, they nail the aesthetic. The armor looks great, and I'll just say that this part of the episode is definitely the weak point. It feels like the afterthought. I thought this actor was really good. When he's given something to do later in the episode, I thought it was really great. But at this part here, he's mad he got overlooked for a promotion, and there's also, he has a friend. I forget what her name is right now, but he's got a friend. And then, he has a mysterious past where he survived in a refrigerator. Flashbacks to Indiana Jones 4, but I can live with that. And then, he's suspected of putting a razor blade in her boot, in his friend's boot. And that is the point of tension where he gets dragged away. They think that he did it because he was jealous, but we saw his reaction to when a friend screamed. So he definitely at least wants it to look like he didn't do it, but I think they want us to think that he didn't do it. Maybe they'll pull the rug out from under us, but I think he's innocent based on the context clues of this episode. And then we get a scene of Lucy wants to break out to find their father, and I would have assumed that he was dead, given that, he put her in the closet so that she could survive and doesn't have to go with the raiders. Why would she assume that he's alive? I'm guessing that they need him for something. He's a scientist, It kind of feels like Fallout 3, the story where you leave the vault to look for your father. So maybe that's definitely the inspiration. But I did appreciate the twist of having the raider aspect come in. And what's weird is the lead raider, the lady in charge of the raiders, was like somebody that he knew, the vault leader, the overseer. So that was something that was a little confusing. How could he forget that? You know what I mean? Especially because she knew the dead mother. Everybody's got a tragic backstory. It definitely feels Lucy, it's kind of the stereotype of the Mary Sue with knowing everything. I mean, she did have training, so it's a little different. It's not like she just all of a sudden learned everything. She's lived her whole life in the vault, but the tragic backstory, being a little bit too perfect, all of that, it's definitely there. So I think it's fair to make that criticism, but like I said, you want your lead character to be capable in a show like this, because she's going to be surviving in the wasteland. So I like the scenes with them escaping the wasteland and the cousin that she was hooking up with. Gross, but it was funny to me. Like, I think that's funny. Some people aren't gonna think it's funny. But I like how the brother was awkward when somebody walked by and he's like, "How's your day going?" He's like, "As bad as everybody else." That humor I like. So I think it's gonna be subjective. You either like the humor or you don't. I liked it. I thought it was the right tone. I like the sarcasm. So I appreciate the kind of cynical, dark humor that the show has. But I think that's whether you're gonna like this show or not hinges on whether that's your sense of humor. I think so, because I'm not feeling the dramatic tension. I'm not feeling the I need to find out what happens next. I'm not feeling the thing where when a character it goes through something bad that I feel for them. I'm not feeling that right now. Maybe I'll get there. But here's the scene with Maximus getting interrogated, and he's like dealing with the jealousy. And this is where the actor shows off that he's got some talent. I like this actor for sure. The another plot convenient thing that doesn't make sense to me is now his friend can't be I forget the word, Titanus or something. She can't be that, so now he's gonna be that. But it's like he just explained why he's a bad choice and why he should have gotten passed up for a promotion. And the person also talks about how violence against your brothers is really bad, but he was introduced by getting his ass beat by other brothers. So it's just some things that just don't really make sense with this final scene here. But there's a mysterious target that we're going to go out there and find, and we've seen him in the trailer. Linus from Lost, and a dog. So I'm guessing dog meat. Love it. That's cool. So here we got the friend, and they're saying goodbye. And then we have this ceremony thing where he gets like branded that I thought was kind of weird. But I'm not a deep lore guy, so I don't know all the things about the Brotherhood of Steel. I don't remember any of that, but maybe it's lore accurate, maybe it's not. I understand some people with the trailer were like, "Oh, the Brotherhood of Steel weren't supposed to be here," and I don't know all that because I don't know the older games as much. I know the Bethesda ones a lot more. I've dabbled in the original ones, but I haven't played them like 100% like I did the Bethesda ones. So, maybe there's some inconsistencies. I don't particularly mind a few retcons here and there. It's all in the execution of the story for me. So, I'm cool with a couple retcons. I'm not here to comment on that. People can say in the comments what's accurate and what's not. It doesn't. I want it to be good. I don't care if it's 100% accurate. That's just where I'm at with pretty much most things, unless there's something I'm really loyal to. I'm okay with changing stuff, contrary to what people seem to think based on my Halo reviews. My logic is not it's different, therefore it's bad. I just want a good story. So, I'm liking all the call outs that we're seeing. We got the vertibirds, we got the power armor, we got various mutants in the trailers, we got this ghoul here. I like this creepy scene where they raise him out of a grave, and it's the guy from the opening scene. I think his name was Howard, but he's now the ghoul, and everybody in this scene is very over the top. This scene felt the most Fallout of the whole show, where we have this over the top guy who wants to bring the ghoul along with him on this journey to find the target that of course the Brotherhood of Steel also want to find. So I love this closing scene here. I think it's got a great sense of humor, and it definitely sets up a very interesting character. Clearly the standout, very well cast, and I think the writing was fun, and it's definitely like kind of B-movie-esque, but that's the Fallout vibe for me. So I love this final scene here. It's my favorite part of the whole episode. It's what gets me most excited. I love him putting the other guy in the grave. I love that. It's really funny to me. I like the over-the-top gore. I love this closing credit scene with the blast going off, and the music is great, and all of the 1960s music, some of it you've heard in the Fallout games before. Pitch perfect. I love that. Even the small details like this there's a coordinate thing going over the radio, and that is drawn into a picture on this graph. Small details I really do appreciate. So again, some of the storylines are rushed, a lot too much crammed in here. Some of the dialogue feels forced. I'm not necessarily enraptured by the characters right now, but it does have potential, and I'm excited to see more of it. So far, I'd say I'm a little bit mixed, but I think it could get better, could get worse, who knows? We will find out. I think we were introduced to most of the major players here. Of course, I do like Lucy, taking a stand to try to do the right thing, but, we shall see how it all plays out at the end of the day. So the end trailer really got me excited for the rest of the season, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you guys Fallout fans? Did you like this show? Did you hate it? Are you really upset about certain retcons or whatever it is? I hope to hear your opinions in the comment section down below. And definitely like and sub if you want to see more videos like this. I'm considering doing a video for every episode, or maybe I'll just wait until I watch all of it and do one short review. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you want to see videos for every episode, let me know. But with that, it's been your boy Shuggy. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.